I never imagined that the happiest day of my son's life would become the day I felt the most humiliated as a mother. But life has a way of surprising you, and sometimes the surprise hurts more than anything you expect. It happened at my son Daniel's wedding. 130 guests, music in the air, lights glowing beautifully. And me, a mother sitting quietly in the corner holding the little gift box I prepared for my son. I was proud of him, I truly was. But what happened that night still echoes in my mind like a sound I can't silence. When the ceremony ended and the hall emptied into the reception room, my new daughter-in-law, Clara, came straight toward me. Her smile was thin, almost cold. She didn't even congratulate me. Instead, she said calmly, "Give me the keys." I thought I misheard. "The keys? To what, dear?" "My apartment," she said. "Daniel and I need it. We'll move in tomorrow." I blinked. The apartment she was talking about wasn't an apartment. It was the small home I had worked 30 years to pay off, the place where Daniel grew up, the only thing I had left that truly belonged to me. "I don't understand," I said softly. "Why would you be moving into my house?" Clara crossed her arms. Her voice grew sharper. "Because Daniel told me you don't need it anymore. You should go live somewhere smaller. So give me the keys now." People around us began slowing down, turning their heads. Music was still playing, but the atmosphere shifted. You could feel the tension building. I tried to stay calm. I didn't want a scene on my son's wedding day. "Clara," I said gently, "this is not the time to discuss this, and this house—" Before I could finish, she stepped closer and whispered sharply, "You're going to embarrass yourself in front of everyone if you keep acting stubborn. Just hand them over." Something inside me tightened. This wasn't confidence. It was entitlement. I shook my head. "No." Her eyes widened. "No." She repeated the word as if I had insulted her, and then it happened. She lifted her hand and slapped me hard, so hard that the room spun for a moment. The sound echoed across the hall. Every conversation stopped. Every eye turned toward us. I held my cheek, not because of the pain, but because of the shock. My own daughter-in-law, on her wedding day, had struck me like I was nothing. Daniel rushed over, eyes wide. "Clara, what are you—" But she cut him off. "She's being dramatic," Clara said loudly. "She refuses to give us the house keys. Tell her, Daniel. Tell her it belongs to us now." For a moment, Daniel froze. His mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. I could feel my heart breaking, not from the slap, but from my son's silence. I looked at both of them, at the people staring, at the lights, the music, the wedding that suddenly felt like a dream twisting into a nightmare. And quietly, without arguing, without crying, I picked up my small handbag and walked out of the hall. But what Clara didn't know was that I wasn't leaving in defeat. I was leaving to make a single phone call, and that one call changed everything that happened next. When I stepped out of the wedding hall, the cool night air touched my burning cheek. I didn't cry. I didn't tremble. I just stood there, letting the silence calm the storm inside me. Behind me, the music kept playing, as if nothing had happened. But something had happened, something that could never be forgotten. I reached into my bag and pulled out my phone. For a moment, I just stared at the screen, wondering if I should really do this, wondering if I should protect Daniel, wondering if I should let Clara's behavior go just to keep peace. But then I remembered her hand striking my face, and Daniel just standing there watching me. I typed a number I hadn't dialed in years, a number only one person had the right to answer. He picked up after 2 rings. "Ma'am," he said, his voice deep and steady, "are you sure you want me to come?" "Yes," I whispered, "I'm sure. I'll be there in 30 minutes." I ended the call and stood by the fountain outside the hall, breathing deeply, letting my heart settle. Inside, people glanced out the windows at me. Some whispered, some pretended not to notice. I didn't care. I had given Daniel everything, my time, my years, my love, my sacrifices. But today, he had given me silence. 30 minutes later, a black car pulled up. The man who stepped out was tall, dressed in a dark suit. His presence alone made people straighten their backs. He walked toward me with quiet confidence. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. "I'm fine," I said. "Let's go inside." We walked together toward the hall doors. People turned their heads immediately. Even the music seemed to soften. Clara's smile vanished the second she saw him. Daniel looked confused. "Mom, who is this?" The man didn't answer. He simply walked to the center of the room and spoke clearly. "Good evening. I am here on behalf of Mrs. Thompson, the legal owner of the house in question." Clara's face drained of color. What do you mean, legal owner?" Daniel froze. "Mom, what is he talking about?" I looked at my son, really looked at him. For the first time in a long while, he didn't look like my little boy anymore. He looked like a stranger trying to negotiate with my life. "Daniel," I said quietly, "you told Clara that my home belongs to both of you?" He swallowed. I I thought you wouldn't mind letting us stay." "Stay?" I interrupted softly. Or maybe the softness was gone now. "Clara demanded my keys and slapped me in front of everyone. You said nothing. So now someone else will speak for me." Clara stepped forward. "This is ridiculous. We're family now. We deserve the property." The man beside me reached into his briefcase and pulled out a folder. "This," he said, "is the deed. The house is fully paid, legally registered, and protected under a trust set up by Mrs. Thompson's late husband. It cannot be transferred, shared, sold, or claimed by marriage. It belongs only to her." People gasped. Clara's hands shook. "That's impossible." "It is final," he said. "Recognition of ownership is absolute. Any attempt to take possession will be considered harassment." Daniel closed his eyes, rubbing his forehead. "Mom, why didn't you tell me about the trust?" I looked at him, and the disappointment in my heart softened just a little. "Because, Daniel, I didn't think I needed to protect myself from my own son." He bowed his head. Everyone in the hall grew silent. Clara, still trembling, pointed at me with a shaky finger. "You planned this. You brought a lawyer to embarrass us." I shook my head. "No, Clara, I brought protection because you embarrassed yourself." There was no shouting, no anger, just truth, and truth has a way of silencing even the loudest people. Clara stormed out of the hall, heels slamming against the floor. Daniel followed her, but he paused near the door. He looked back at me with a face full of guilt, a son realizing the weight of his choices. "Mom," his voice cracked, "I'm sorry. But apologies are not enough when trust has been shattered." I simply nodded, and the man beside me placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. "Mrs. Thompson," he said softly, "your car is ready. Shall we?" And so I walked out of the wedding hall, the same hall I had entered with pride, but now leaving with a kind of strength I didn't know I had. But this was not the end, not even close. Because after that wedding night, Clara's true intentions began to unfold, and they were far darker than anything I had imagined. The morning after the wedding, I woke up earlier than usual. Maybe it was the quiet, maybe it was the bruise on my cheek, or maybe it was the uneasy feeling that something worse was coming. I made tea and sat by the window, watching the sunlight move over the floor. For a long time, I just stared at my hands, the same hands that had raised Daniel, fed him, bathed him, protected him. How did we end up here? How did I become the enemy in my own child's life? While I was lost in thought, my phone buzzed. It was a message, not from Daniel, from an unknown number. "You think you won yesterday? Let's see how long that lasts." No name, no signature, but I knew exactly who it was. Clara. I put the phone down slowly. I refused to let her see me shaken, even from behind a screen. A few hours later, I received another message, this time from a neighbor. "Morning. There's a car parked outside your house. They've been there almost an hour. Is everything okay?" A car? Watching my house? My heart tightened. I walked to the front window carefully. A black sedan sat across the street, engine off, windows up, no movement. Whoever was inside wasn't there by accident. I dialed the same number I had called after the wedding. the number of the one person I knew would protect me. He picked up immediately. Mrs. Thompson, are you safe? I think someone is watching my house, I whispered. I'm on my way. I hung up and stepped back from the window. Suddenly, my house, the place that always felt warm and safe, felt like a place someone wanted to take from me. After 20 minutes, there was a knock at my door. It was him, the same man who stood beside me at the wedding, my husband's old lawyer, Mr. Harris, the man who had known my husband for years, the man my husband had quietly trusted to protect me if anything ever went wrong. He stepped into my living room and scanned the windows. Stay behind me, he said calmly. He walked to the front door, peeked outside, and then nodded. They're gone, but they'll be back. I felt a cold wave rush through me. Mr. Harris, what does Clara want? Why is she doing this? He sighed deeply, setting his briefcase on the table. Because she thinks you're weak. Because she thinks your son will take her side. And because she wants what she believes you don't deserve. What don't I deserve? I asked softly. Your home, he answered, and the insurance money. I stared at him, confused. Insurance money? Your husband, he continued, left you a very large life insurance policy. Clara and Daniel found out. My breath caught in my throat. How? I whispered. Your son, he said gently. He told her. I closed my eyes, not from anger, but from heartbreak. Daniel had shared something sacred, something meant only for family, something meant to protect me in my old age. Clara is very good at manipulation, Mr. Harris continued. She convinced him that since you don't need much, the money should be used by them. She thinks she can pressure you, scare you into giving up control. I shook my head slowly. She slapped me at their wedding, I whispered, in front of everyone, and he didn't stop her. How did I lose him like this? Mr. Harris sat down across from me, his voice low and steady. You didn't lose him. He lost himself. Clara knows exactly how to use people's emotions to get what she wants. I swallowed hard. So, what does she plan to do next? He opened his briefcase and pulled out a folded paper. This was delivered to my office this morning, he said. It's a legal request. Clara wants Daniel to have joint access to your property and assets. I stared at the paper. My own son. He signed it, Mr. Harris added quietly. It felt like the air in the room had vanished. He signed against me? Mr. Harris nodded gently. I felt something inside me crack, not loudly but quietly, like a small piece of my heart dropping to the floor. Mrs. Thompson, he said softly, your husband protected you from this long before he died, but now you must protect yourself too. I looked at the paper again, my hands trembling. I had always been a peaceful woman, a forgiving woman, a mother who never wanted to fight her own child. But this wasn't just a fight, this was survival. Daniel had made his choice, and Clara was just getting started. 3 days passed, 3 days of silence from Daniel, 3 days of watching that same black sedan appear and disappear outside my house like a shadow waiting for me to step outside. Mr. Harris called every morning to make sure I was safe. He told me not to answer the door for anyone, not even Daniel, unless he was with me. But on the fourth evening, someone knocked anyway, a soft knock, polite, almost gentle. I stepped quietly toward the peephole. And there she was, Clara, standing on my porch, alone, hair neatly tied, lipstick perfectly done, face calm, too calm. A woman who had slapped me in front of 130 guests now smiled sweetly at my door. I didn't open. She knocked again, this time with her knuckles tapping lightly. Mrs. Thompson, she said softly through the door, please, I only want to talk. Talk? The last time she talked, she left a bruise on my face. I kept the door locked. She sighed, a dramatic, annoyed sigh, then spoke again. Daniel is worried about you. He thinks you're being influenced. So that's what she had told him, that I wasn't thinking for myself, that I needed guidance, that I was the problem. Please open the door, she continued. I want us to work this out peacefully. Peaceful? That word tasted bitter coming from her mouth. I didn't reply. Instead, I stepped away and dialed Mr. Harris. She's here, I whispered. Keep the door locked, he said firmly. I'm 10 minutes away. Outside, Clara kept talking. You know, Daniel loves you. He just wants to help. We all want to help. I almost laughed. Help by selling my home, by taking my assets, by slapping me in front of the man who used to call me mom. But Clara didn't stop. Her voice changed, shifting from fake sweetness to a cold, sharp edge. If you make things difficult, she said softly, Daniel will get hurt. You don't want that, do you? My heart tightened. So that was it. Not a conversation, a threat. She paused, then added, let's just settle everything now. Sign the papers, give Daniel access, and we'll leave you in peace. I stepped closer to the door again, not to open it, but to answer. My voice was quiet, steady, not angry, just tired. Clara, I said, you laid your hands on me at your wedding. You humiliated me. You threatened me. I exhaled slowly. And now you want my home. She didn't deny it. I want what Daniel deserves, she said. What Daniel deserves, I replied calmly, is to learn how to stand on his own 2 feet. Silence. Then she snapped. You old women always think your sons owe you something. You think your house is sacred. You think your money is for you. Daniel and I deserve a future. Then build one, I said gently, not by destroying mine. More silence. Outside, I heard her take a step back. Her breath trembled, not from fear, but from frustration. You'll regret this, she said finally. Things will get much harder for you now. I was going to reply, but I didn't have to. At that very moment, headlights flashed across my driveway. Mr. Harris's car pulled in. Clara saw it, and she ran, not walked, ran, her heels tapping quickly across the pavement until the sound disappeared into the night. Mr. Harris came to the door, breathing slightly heavier than usual. Are you okay? He asked. I nodded. She threatened me, I whispered, and she wants Daniel to take everything. Mr. Harris tightened his jaw. I was afraid of this, he said. There's something you need to see, something your husband prepared long before he died. He opened his briefcase and pulled out a sealed envelope with my name written in my husband's handwriting. My knees almost gave out, not because of the envelope, but because I already knew whatever was inside would change everything. I held the envelope in my hands for a long moment. The paper felt soft, almost fragile, like it had been waiting for me all this time. My husband's handwriting, that gentle slope, those careful curves, it brought back memories I wasn't ready for, memories of him sitting at the kitchen table, signing papers, looking at me with that smile he only used when he was hiding something good. Mr. Harris spoke softly. He asked me to give this to you only when you faced real danger, and tonight you did. I swallowed hard and opened it. Inside was a letter, a simple, folded letter, but the words felt heavier than anything I had ever read. My dearest Elaine, if you are reading this, it means someone has tried to take advantage of your kindness, and I'm not there to protect you. My chest tightened. You have always trusted too easily, loved too deeply, given too much. A tear slid down my cheek, and I know your heart. You would give away everything, your home, your savings, your peace, just to keep our son happy. He knew me too well, too well. So I made sure you couldn't. I looked up at Mr. Harris. He nodded, encouraging me to keep reading. The house, the land, the accounts, everything you and I built belongs to you alone and cannot be sold, transferred, or touched, not by Daniel, not by anyone. My breath caught. I created a trust in your name, ironclad, permanent, unbreakable. Another tear fell onto the paper. Daniel will learn life the way every man must, by standing on his own feet, not by leaning on your sacrifices. I pressed the letter against my chest. My husband, even in death, was still holding my hand. Mr. Harris gently handed me another document, a legal one. This, he said, confirms the trust. Your assets are protected forever. Protected forever. For the first time in weeks, I felt the tightness in my chest begin to loosen. Later that evening, the phone rang again. Daniel, I answered, my voice calm. Mom, he said, sounding exhausted. Clara is furious. She said you threatened her. Is that true? No, Daniel, I replied softly. She's lying, but that's not what we need to talk about. He sighed. Mom, we already made plans with the house. We counted on that money. I know, I said gently, but the house is not yours to sell. It never was. Silence. Then Daniel whispered, Dad did this, didn't he? Yes, I said. He did it out of love, for both of us. His voice broke, not angry this time, but ashamed. I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't see what Clara was doing. I thought I was doing the right thing. I know, I whispered. You're still my son, but you need to choose the kind of man you want to be. He didn't speak for a long moment. Then, I want to come see you, alone, without Clara. My eyes closed. A small warm ache spread through my chest. Come tomorrow, I said. We'll talk. That night, I sat in my living room, the same room Clara wanted to reorganize, the same room my husband and I had filled with memories. The walls felt warmer, the silence softer, the house mine again. I placed my husband's letter on the table and whispered, Thank you. You protected me, even when you weren't here. And for the first time since the wedding, I slept peacefully, not because everything was fixed, but because I had survived. I had stood my ground. I had chosen myself. And tomorrow, my son would walk through the door alone, and we would begin again.